So I'm getting old because I played basketball yesterday and my back hurts, my hip hurts, and I want to take a nap. So here we are doing the greatest podcast on earth. That's right, ITCAF podcast,
Yes.
man. How are you today?
I, I'm getting old. I went for a jog and dislocated my knee. So yeah, I'm
Yes.
right there with you. I can't move without having a brace on. I have to put ice on it. So you have that to look forward to, my friend, at some point. So, but hey, like you said, we're about to do the greatest podcast ever and talk about the thing that we love the most, Hollywood and entertainment and movies and TV, and we're gonna rock and roll. And I just keep thinking we are now just one episode away, my man. One episode away from 300. What?
It's
What?
absolutely bonkers. I completely agree. But yes, all of these injuries, all of this soreness is not keeping the
Can't
crazy
keep us
away. That
down.
is
No.
for sure. We're going to be talking about, of course, the domination of Lilo and Stitch this summer at the box office. We're also going to be talking about some Fantastic Four stuff, some Netflix stuff, some stuff that is getting another season, like Mobland on Paramount Plus. Oh my goodness, all that and more later on the show. Now, let's getting crazy. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Did y'all see that? What?
Let's just throw Scream 6 in there for like
It
my
was good.
favorite movie. It was really good. The best of the franchise, in my opinion, since the first one.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 299 of ITCAF Podcast. Oh my goodness, your host with the most, myself, J. Logan Austin, aka J-Lo Fantastic, and of course, Dustin M. Bergman, aka The Mouth.
What's up?
Man, oh man.
No, I can't keep him down.
We
I
were
can't.
saying before we even started, we're like, man, we're not biased at all. I mean, Mickey,
No.
Star Wars.
Yeah. We've got the mouse joining us as a third host this week. It's fine. We couldn't keep him away. I mean, come on.
It's
what
true.
are you gonna do?
It's true. But man, oh man, before we deep dive into all of the latest and greatest entertainment news that happened this past week, of course, we got to get down to business. Please be sure to leave a rating on this show. Comment below and tell us what you actually think about the podcast, because leaving a rating, commenting, liking, sharing helps this show get more seen by people who enjoy the entertainment news, but especially those who are trying to break into the entertainment industry. So it's all about spreading the word, spreading the crazy, and spreading the fun. So please be sure to do that with this podcast, ITCAF Podcast, man.
Yes.
And then, of course, the last bit of news. Be sure to visit our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. We got a little bit of something for a little bit of everyone. Shirts, hats, phone cases, teddy bears, all the good stuff, man. Be sure to head over there right here, right now, for all your crazy merchandise needs. But of course, like we do for 299 episodes, we are starting off with Disney, of course. They are developing a sequel to its live-action blockbuster hit, Lilo and Stitch.
Yes.
Of course, this with being the remake, nobody knew how it was going to do. It was supposed to be initially for a streamer, and boom! Box office magic.
Yes.
The studio announced the project on Thursday, 6/26, and with a clever reference to the Wild Blue Aliens government name, Experiment 626. In a brief teaser, Stitch drives a hot pink convertible through Disney's lot as he shouts, "Get ready, here we go!" News of the follow-up film comes as Lilo and Stitch has grossed over $910 million at the global box office since Memorial Day weekend. Now, originally planned as a straight-to-streaming release, like I said, the PG adventure is on pace to become the year's first billion-dollar blockbuster. Now, Disney hasn't announced any details, including the creative team, plot details, or release timeline for the upcoming sequel, but hey, it's just pretty cool that there's gonna be one. And if I'm not mistaken, this may be the first live-action sequel that we're getting from Disney. The live-action remake sequels. I don't think we've gotten a sequel to any of the other live-action remakes.
If you count the latest Lion King one, even though it's sort of a prequel,
A prequel,
right?
Yeah,
but
that's
it
valid.
was
Yeah.
a second live action film made
It's true.
from that
Yeah.
universe. So, but I guess
But
you
just
could
those two.
Yeah,
Just
just
those
those
two.
two. But makes sense because those two made a shit ton of money and the other ones were back and forth, right? So
Yeah.
if it makes money, they're going. they're not gonna be like, hey, wait a minute, let's not do that. But I'm happy for this. I did see though, this is gonna be interesting because I did see earlier this week that it has slowed a bit, and now they're thinking it might just miss a billion. Kind of like Minecraft did, where everybody thought that one was gonna go, and then it just kind of stopped right before. It's looking like that could happen to Lilo and Stitch. Either way, it's a massive hit. It will be the biggest of the year so far, because it will creep past Minecraft, even if it misses a billion. So, hey, you know what? Disney's rocking and rolling, and they can handle it. They love Elio. They were like, no problem. Lilo and Stitch covered that. We're good. And that's the point, right? You're gonna have hits and misses, and as a studio, you just have to prepare for that. And I think Disney is doing a really good job of that. And we can't talk about Disney and the success at the box office without mentioning that in just 1 month, it's clobbering time! Yeah, baby! Marvel's first family, as you guys know, will fly into theaters around the globe. Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Human Torch, and clobbering time himself, The Thing, are joined this time, though, which I'm super excited about, because I love him, Herbie! Yes, Herbie's gonna join them, and of course, the Silver Surfer, maybe 2 Silver Surfers, and the planet-eating cosmic being Galactus. You guys know it. It's going to be a thrill ride, no doubt. And with it only being 30 days away, you got to have a new poster retrofitted. It's a pretty poster, guys. If you haven't seen it, check it out. And the final, yes, Marvel confirmed this is the final trailer that we're going to see for the movie was released this week. Now, this trailer leans even more into the family aspect of the film, especially with the MCU's new most powerful being, mark my words, Franklin Richards, getting more highlighted throughout the trailer, which was awesome. Now, outside of their family life, there is also a bigger sense of how their world perceives the beloved group in their home universe. Yeah, they're even hinting at they have a TV show and a cartoon and stuff like that, so they must be celebrities. The Fantastic Four First Steps trailer is the emphasis on just how powerful Galactus is, with footage getting even closer to the iconic Marvel villain and his story in comparison to the previous trailers. Yeah, we're getting closer and closer and closer to seeing the full reveal of him, which they kind of did in a little teaser trailer with his face, but not really, kind of. My thing, though, this is what I noted, and a lot of people are talking about this, and if you're not a comic book fan, they were pissed about it. Comic book fans love it, but what does it mean? If you guys noticed really, really close, Thing had a beard. Yes, Thing can grow a beard, and he has a beard, a bearded Thing. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that that's a flashback scene? I don't think so, because we see him with the beard when they're about to jump into a fight. So, does it mean that we're time jumping in the film? Is this a different Thing that they run across? We know they flee that Earth at some point. What does bearded Thing mean? So, and that was intentional. They did not put that in the trailer to not cause this very question. What does bearded Thing mean? And then, of course, I guess they're going to do the big reveal when he finally says what I've already said. It's clobbering time. It's a cute little joke throughout the trailer about, is it time? Say it! Say it! And so we're going to hear him say it. I have no doubt. Look, man, I think there's a lot's riding on this film. There's no doubt about it. This is a big one. This is nobody's gotten it right yet. Marvel said they needed it to do it right. Well, you got it, and we're going to see. So, but I hope fandom will not do what we were talking about with this one. I hope not. Thunderbolts was so great. They took their time. They made a great film. And I have no doubt Fantastic Four is going to be great. Will fans kill it, though? That's the question, and I'm hoping not. Just let it be, man. Stop tearing down what's been built up.
Yes, it's very exciting, though. Yeah, we're very excited to finally see this film. They've been teasing it forever. I feel like, honestly, for 6 years, they've been slowly but surely teasing all of these little integral parts. So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting. Well, something that I don't know a project or a person who should ever touch this project again, and this is very disappointing from FX and Disney. They are nearing a pilot order for a project inspired by Mel Brooks's iconic comedy film, Young Frankenstein.
No.
Exact plot details are under wraps, but it looks like the project is currently titled Very Young Frankenstein. Now, Brooks will serve as an executive producer on the project with his producing partner, Kevin Salter. Young Frankenstein was originally released in 1974 and is frequently named one of the best comedy films ever made. And I completely agree. That's why you should never freaking touch it. And especially with Gene Wilder being passed on. You know, that was his baby. So I feel like it's kind of shitty of Mel to go back and kind of reinvent this thing.
All the iconic stars of that film have passed. Terry Garr, Gene Wilder, Peter Boyle, who, of course, the monster himself. Like, I'm right there with you. And obviously, I was a fan before you guys, you little youngstins, even though with your busted up bodies. Yeah, this is just one you should not touch. It just, and look, I get it. Mel Brooks is attached. Fine. You know what I think this is, though? And I'm gonna just say it because we announced a couple of weeks ago too that they were gonna do another Spaceballs, and Mel Brooks is attached. Mel Brooks is up there, y'all. I'm just saying it's probably sometime. I don't want to wish any ill will. I don't know. This is not by anything, but I would assume at some point soon we might lose him. And I think these are money grabs. Let's go and get all the properties that Mel's attached to. Let's re-put them back out there. Let's rebuild that. Because all of a sudden, after all these years, we're revisiting Spaceballs. We're revisiting Young Frankenstein. Why? I mean, we were comfortable sitting on them all that time. Now we want to remake them. What other purpose could it be other than to, I'm just saying, try to capitalize on before. Yeah, just my thought on it, but I'm right there with you. I think this is a mistake. I think you shouldn't touch this. I don't think it will be anywhere near, younger Frank or very young Frank. What? Nobody wants to see him before that. Like, I don't.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's weird.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Here's, not to be confused with Black Widow, Marvel Black Widow. Other Black Widow, Lola Pettigrew and Scott McNairy, I love him by the way, are now set to star in Liz Merriweather's upcoming untitled Hulu series, which is loosely based and inspired by the 1987 movie Black Widow. Now, we told you about I think back in March, that Emmy Rossum is also attached to star in this bad boy. Now, in addition, Brian Kirk from The Day of the Jackal and Game of Thrones has boarded the series as director and executive producer. So, what's it about? Because that sounds like a stellar cast. Well, the official logline says it's about an FBI agent using the secrets from a female serial killer's past to try and find her. Now, Rossum will, of course, star as the FBI agent. Pettigrew will play Catherine, who is described as a killer with a complicated past targeting wealthy men and running from the NYPD and the FBI. McNairy will play Danny, said to be an New York Police Department homicide detective who's been at it too long. Danny's sharp, tired, and emotionally tangled in ways he doesn't bother to hide anymore. So a dried-up cop working with a troubled FBI agent to take down a serial killer who's twisted in the head. Fantastic! This sounds like a winner.
No, for sure.
I like Emmy Rossum, though. We haven't really seen her do a lot of stuff since Shameless. So I'm all in. I think this could potentially be a huge comeback for her, and fingers crossed, because she's awesome.
Yeah, completely agree. Well, we're heading over to Fox, and if anybody was ever going to do it, it makes sense for it to be this guy.
It does.
That's right. Everybody remembers that popular competition program, Fear Factor. Yeah, the one was hosted by Joe Rogan. Well, the network is finally going back. They want another revival because remember, they've already tried this once before with Joe coming back. But now Johnny Knoxville is going to host the revival series where the contestants, of course, will take on crazy assignments such as jumping onto a moving vehicle or eating insects. In the new Fox version, a group of contestants will live together in a remote location and grapple not only with the dares and stunts, but social media challenges as well. The series, slated to be called Fear Factor: The Next Chapter, is set to premiere during Fox's 2025-2026 broadcast season. Like I said, if anybody could do it, I feel like Johnny is the guy. I'm excited for this thing. I think hopefully it will work this time.
Yeah, I loved the original before Joe
Yeah.
went all, like, people started hating him and shit. I thought it was a great show. It was unique at the time, and yeah, it was fun. The one knock that I have is I hate how all these reboots or these restarts or even just brand new reality are trying to capitalize on the survivor aspect of putting them on a remote island and living together, right? We saw that with Deal or No Deal. Now it's on an island, and yeah, I'm like, what? But, do what you got to do if you think that's going to make it work. And the one thing I'm interested about is the social media challenges. If this means that we get to, like, suggest challenges over social media and they pick the fans, that would be awesome, right? Like, if we get to go, oh, yeah, I want to see you eat this shit. Or like, that'd be pretty cool to have it interactive, right? Like, come on, man. All right, jumping over to the bunny. We've only got one story, but it's a good one coming out of the bunny house this time. Writer-director Matt Reeves, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, you're already excited, aren't you? He shared a photo of the completed script, finally, for the highly anticipated The Batman sequel on his Instagram account. It's been a long wait for the update on The Batman Part 2, which was originally announced, get this, way back in April of 2022. Now, a month after the original Pattinson blockbuster soared into theaters. Well, after several delays, of which we've told you every one of them, the sequel is now scheduled for October 1st, 2027, 5.5 years after the original film debuted and made more than $772 million at the global box office. This does not surprise me. Gunn has been hinting that they were waiting on the final script and that Reeves was close and that we should all just calm down, and so this does not surprise me at all. This should get people pumped because Gunn has also said that the single most important thing in his DC universe is Batman. Getting Batman right and trying to do so. This just makes sense to me, and I'm pumped because damn, the first one was good and Penguin was good and shit. I'm excited for this one.
Most definitely. And isn't it so funny that literally last week we were talking about how the fandom was trying to cancel basically Matt Reeves' Batman Part 2, where they're like, it's not happening, definitely never going to see the light of day. Robert Pattinson's not coming back, blah, blah, blah. Literally a week later, we have a finished script. Calm down.
Yes.
Man. Calm down. But anyway, now we're going over to Paramount, where they just released the first trailer for Channing Tatum's new movie, Roofman. Now, it is based on a true story of a drama that follows a former Army Ranger and a struggling father facing financial hardships. To make ends meet, he decides to rob a McDonald's, well, multiple McDonald's restaurants by cutting holes in their roofs and earning him the name Roofman. While hiding in the toy store after escaping from prison, he starts a new life when he falls in love with a single mother who's going to be played by Kirsten Dunst and her 2 daughters. However, his criminal past and final robbery complicated his chances at redemption. Roofman is set to release in theaters on October 11th. Now, we love a good redemption story. Now, my prediction already, not even out yet, he's going to not serve time. He's going to be able to live with his family. I don't know what's going to happen. But
and McDonald's will reward him a ton of money and free food for life. That would be awesome. This one caused quite the stir where I'm at because it was filmed here in Charlotte and everybody was swooning over Channing the whole time he was here. It was pretty funny. Look, man, I like Channing. I think he's doing really well. Big stuff. He's kind of making a quiet comeback for himself after being gone for a little bit. This one will be a winner, I think. It sounds like a cool, like you said, everybody loves a good redemption story, and you know, when you fall on hard times, getting out of it. That'll be good. This one we all kind of saw coming. I think it's good news for the future of the streamer, but you know, it's kind of like the same thing with the misidentifying or misbranding or rebranding of Max over there at Warner Brothers. Paramount Global apparently has quietly erased Showtime from the name of its top-tier streaming package. Yeah, that's right. At the beginning of this week, Paramount informed subscribers that the name of its ad-free plan is no longer Paramount Plus with Showtime. Instead, it's now Paramount Plus Premium. Yep. The pricing, though, here's the good news, of the package remains the same. Still costs $12.99 per month or $119.99 per year. Showtime programming remains an important part of the Paramount Plus, so don't worry about that. They just dropped the name, not the content. The streamer still offers the full lineup of Showtime original programming like Dexter, Original Sin, Yellow Jackets, and The Chi. Now, in addition, the service includes live Showtime East and West linear feeds, as well as live streams of CBS News 24/7, CBS Sports HQ, and mixable news and pop culture. So there you go. Don't panic. Don't freak out. Premium. Showtime's still there. It's fine. It's just not the name. That's it. Just not the name.
Well, that's the thing. It's the consolidation we were talking about.
Exactly.
The streaming bubble finally popping, where we might see more and more of these consolidations. Like at some point, I don't think Hulu's going to exist anymore. It's just going to be Disney Plus with the Hulu option on there. So here we go, guys. Buckle your seatbelts because some streamers are going away.
Yeah.
That is for sure. But like I teased a little bit earlier, Paramount Plus did renew a high-profile crime drama, better known as Mobland, for season 2. The series originally debuted on the streamer back in March. Now, with season 1's finale airing June 1st, the show has spent 6 weeks on the Nielsen Top 10 Original Series chart, and now Paramount Plus number 2 original show of all time, being only Taylor Sheridan's Landman, behind Taylor Sheridan's only Landman. Mob Ties tells the story of a London crime family, the Harrigans, and their loyal fixer, Harry DeSouza, who's, of course, played by Tom Hardy, as they battle the authorities and other criminals in their attempt to hang on to power. This is one that I have not watched yet, but really want to, and especially, I mean, Pierce and Tom, I feel like being in the same show
and Helen Mirren,
they are. Yeah, I feel like it's probably great. Have you checked that one out?
I have not. I was just about to say the same thing to you, which is why people think we share a brain. Everybody has been telling me how great this thing is, and I haven't jumped on it yet. But clearly we need to. Clearly we need to get on this and check it out. So stay tuned. I'm sure we will let you know our opinion coming. Let's go on over to NBC Universal, where the lovely and talented Daisy Edgar Jones is set to star in a remake of Sense and Sensibility, which is apparently in the works at Focus Features. Now, Georgia Oakley from Blue Jean will direct the new take on Jane Austen's classic, with Diana Reed set to adapt the screenplay. Now, if you weren't familiar, originally published in 1811, yes, 1811, Sense and Sensibility was the first novel by the beloved Jane Austen. The story of Sense and Sensibility follows sisters Eleanor, which will be played by Edgar Jones, and Marianne Dashwood, who navigate love, loss, and financial uncertainty as they are forced to leave their family estate in Sussex. Now, who's playing the sister, the role of Marianne Dashwood? Well, it hasn't been announced yet, but I'm betting pretty soon we'll be able to tell you. So stay tuned for that one. Look, everybody loves Jane Austen. All her films do well. You love Pride and Prejudice, and I mean, this one will be a success, no doubt.
Exactly. I completely agree. And I mean, speaking of another highly successful author who has mainstream film and television success, Stephen King. That's right. The Stand may finally be heading to the big screen. Filmmaker Doug Liman is attached to direct the feature film of the post-apocalyptic bestseller for Paramount Pictures. The Cross Creek Pictures Tyler Thompson on board to produce this thing. The project does not yet have a script, however, so development may take some time as Lyman and the studio whittle down King's novel, which runs, get this guys, about 1,100 pages into a single movie. But the studio sees the movie as a priority and is moving forward aggressively to make it happen. I wish I could just write a book and then they just automatically greenlight this thing and have Fucking Stephen King, man.
Yeah, and like John Grisham and all these authors, it's like, it's up to them. I feel like the studios immediately reach out and go, hey man, we want to make the movie of the new book. Nah, not this one. Or yes, this one. You know what I mean? But this is interesting because like you said at the top, may finally be heading. Because I know what people are thinking. We've seen The Stand. You have. It's been on television several times. But I feel like that was the problem, right? It was on television as a limited miniseries a couple of times. Because it's so big. The problem is, how do you make that into a 2-hour or a 2.5-hour movie, right? So good luck. But I think, I mean, obviously, I think it'll do huge on the big screen. But yeah, you do have to kind of figure out pacing and how to make that work. So jumping over to Sony, and well, this one makes sense, guys, because they haven't been able to make a successful one since these without Marvel's help. So let's just go back to the original. Sony has announced that the original Spider-Man trilogy, yes, trilogy, even the third one that really nobody liked, directed by Sam Raimi, of course, and starring the beloved Tobey Maguire, is heading back to the theaters once again, with Fathom Entertainment setting fall event screenings in collaboration with Sony Pictures. Now, notably, the event also includes a 4K edition of the extended cut of Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 2.1. This marks the first theatrical release of that version of the sequel, which includes extended and additional scenes. Now, the engagement, are you ready? If you want to know if you're going to go, will be on September 26th, with screenings of Spider-Man 2.1 following on September 27th, and Spider-Man 3 on September 28th. Then it's going to be an encore presentation coming the following weekend, in case you missed it, with the trilogy entries once again playing on October 3rd, October 4th, and October 5th. And here's the good news. You can start buying tickets for this bad boy July 25th, so just next month. This seemed like a no-brainer. Everybody loved seeing Tobey back in you know, the latest Spider-Man movie, and you know, there's kind of a resurgence and a love with that. So, and like I said, I mean, they just can't do a Spider-Man movie that works on their own. So this one works. Yeah. Hey, little known fact, trivia out there for everybody. If you didn't know, the original Spider-Man was the first movie ever to open with $100 million or more at the box office. $114 million opening weekend, and at the time was unheard of. Like, what? $100 million? Now if you don't hit $100 million on opening weekend, you're like a complete failure. But back then it was a milestone, $100 million, and Spidey was the first one to do it. $114 million bucks.
Yeah, they completely set the precedent. That's for sure. They set the stone and the first steps for the theatrical experience when it comes to superhero films. So yeah, it's an amazing thing to see. But this next one I think is probably the biggest story that broke this week, in my opinion, because I think Hollywood is in love with this film. They're in love with the concept of continuing to do another one because they've been hinting at it for so long. I mean, everybody I know has been talking about wanting another one of these. I'm talking about Aaron Sorkin, him developing another social network, and they're right now titled Part 2 at Sony Pictures. Sorkin has written a screenplay and is set to direct the follow-up to the 2010 film, The Social Network, of course, helmed by David Fincher, which chronological the creation and early days of Facebook, which has grown to become, of course, the world's largest social media platform. Sorkin's sequel is based on the Wall Street Journals that was titled The Facebook Files, a series of articles authorized by Jeff Horowitz and published in October of 2021, which further exposed the inner workings of the company. Now, of course, Jesse Eisenberg starred as the Facebook founder, Mark Zuckerberg, in The Social Network, but casting has yet to be announced yet for the sequel. But oh my gosh, if Jesse doesn't come back, that would be wild. You can't do it without Jesse, in my opinion.
I would agree with that, but Jesse has been out lately saying almost everywhere to anyone who will listen is that I'm not Mark Zuckerberg. He really took, because you know Mark started to take a lot of heat. People weren't liking him, but people were directing it at Jesse, and he's like, I'm not him, bro. I just played him in the movie. So it's gonna be interesting if he wants to revisit that and have that be a thing again. If I'm just going to say this, if I'm Sony, and I'm Aaron Sorkin, I'm treading lightly this time. I can't wait. I'm with you. I am so freaking pumped about this movie. But Mark's a little bit more powerful than he was when the first one came out.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way more powerful. He's now one of the richest men in the world. He's buddy with the president of the United States and basically in the lap of the most powerful people in the world. Tread carefully this time, guys. The first time he got upset and said he was pretty, upset about the way he was. This time he may be able to take it a little further than that.
Power to come after you.
Yeah. So just saying, keep it entertaining, keep it to where you can't be sued. But I'm looking forward to it. And this was one, in my opinion. Speaking of our top 5 coming up. Did this make the list? This was one of the greatest opening scenes of all time. Literally like a 13-minute conversation between Mark Zuckerberg and his then girlfriend, just talking about like life and about how they just weren't sure if they were compatible and what the blah, 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 blah. 13 minutes of straight dialogue in a restaurant with 2 people. And yet somehow you were gripped and couldn't move. And I'm like, oh, shit. So, yeah, one of the greatest openings of all time. So, you'll see. You'll have to wait and see if it made my list. But that's how good Sorkin is. That's the reason I said it. That's how good he is. Just bam. A couple other guys that are pretty good. People recognizing Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Of course, their buddy, also Jerry Cardinal's independent artist-led studio Redbird Capital. Well, them and Artists Equity, which is Ben and Matt's company, have signed an overall 3-year theatrical feature film agreement with Sony. Now, the deal calls for Sony handling the global release of Artist Equity productions. The Culver City lot will also finance the films and handle all the auxiliaries, with Artist Equity having the option to co-finance individual projects. Because, the whole point of Artist Equity is to share in the profits. If you don't co-finance it, you don't share in the profits. So that only makes sense. Artist Equity, as you guys know, had a long-running, non-exclusive relationship with Amazon MGM Studios on such movies, of course, as The Accountant 2 and Air. So, and this is interesting. I want to throw this in because they also Sony announced that Amazon MGM Studios just signed a multi-year agreement to have films distributed through Sony. So the company that you walked away with and now you're bringing it is coming with you apparently. So it's all good. It's all fine. It's decent. It's cool. So anyway, Sony's apparently killing it with scooping up films to distribute. So good for them.
Yeah, for sure. It's always very interesting too because that company is so unique and so cherished. I feel like for creators and Hollywood in general, like they want to see more of that. So yeah, I'm hoping that we can continue seeing great films because what they've been putting out so far has been awesome.
Without doubt.
I love everything. So yeah, very exciting, man. Very exciting. Well, we're heading over to Amazon MGM, where they announced some exciting news this past week as well. Everybody knows they now have this little franchise called James Bond.
Yes.
That's right. They've been looking to figure out what to do with this project. Is it going to be a television show? Is it going to be a film franchise? What are they going to do? Well, they decided to go the film route. And then, of course, they were looking for a big-time director. And they finally landed on Denis Villeneuve, who, of course, is the guy behind the entire Dune franchise, which, of course, has been doing very freaking well.
Yes.
I'm super excited to see what he does with this. And, of course, Tanya Lepoite signing on as an executive producer for this bad boy as well. And as previously announced, we have Amy Pascal and David Heyman, who will serve as producers. Now, the question is, who will Villeneuve cast as the martini-sipping super spy? Of course, known as Bond, James Bond.
Yes.
So, it's going to be interesting.
Oh, yeah, there's big-time rumors about that. They're already releasing names of who the studio wants. Now, of course, it's who does Dennis want. But the studio wants some names. They released Jacob Elordi, Tom Holland. Either of
Way
those, I think,
younger.
would be, way younger. Well, the rumor is that they're going to go before Suave James. This is going to be him just getting started before he's really into the whole, I'm Bond, James Bond. So I like that idea, though. It's a fresh take on trying to, get a younger audience to be like before he was the womanizing, martini sipping guy. He's a little unsure of himself. So I think, Jacob or Tom would slay at that. I also heard they reached out to another couple of big name directors, including Christopher Nolan, before Dennis signed on to it. So I don't know if, Chris turned it down or if just the timing wasn't right or whatever.
But are you ready for the Hollywood backlash when they cast a white man when a couple years ago everybody was like, we need a black James Bond, we need a woman James Bond, but they're going to go back to a white man. That's how they always do it.
At least the first 3 names on the list of who the studio wanted were, white men. But who knows? Maybe Dennis surprises everybody and goes with Idris Elba. Or maybe he does go. We don't know yet.
Michael B. Jordan would be amazing.
Oh my God. Michael B. Jordan would be so epic as James Bond. Because you totally believe him as an inexperienced kind of thug type, who becomes the refined super martini. Oh my God, Jordan would kill it. Make that happen, y'all. What the fuck? You're welcome. You're welcome. You know who else is awesome? And probably if we were going to go the white guy route, would be a pretty good James Bond himself. I bet he can pull off the British accent. Reacher star Alan Ritchson. And Bunham Murray Productions are now apparently developing a new survival competition series titled Predator vs. Prey. I love this. It's going to be hosted by Richardson. Now, Predator vs. Prey will follow a cast of 15 stars who have previously appeared on other survival series, such as Alone, Outlast, Naked and Afraid, and Survivor, as they compete in a 21-day game of hide and seek set on a 25-square-mile rugged wilderness course. The group will be divided into 2 groups, with predators able to bank up to $500,000 for capturing prey, who earn cash prizes for staying in the game. Now, each episode will feature a different challenge that changes the game and forces prey out of hiding. That sounds... that's awesome. You're basically being hunted. I don't know if I want to be the hunter or the huntee, though. I think both would be fun.
I'd for sure want to hunt people. I would for sure channel my inner Craven and just try to go for it.
Hell yeah.
I would much rather not hide. That's where I'm at.
Joe would be great on that show as a hunter.
Yeah, right.
Because everybody thinks he's like the nicest guy ever from Survivor. And let's put Firefighter Joe out there as a hunter, man, and see him take some people down. That'd be epic.
It would be badass, that's for sure. Well, I don't even know how to transition into this one, but so here we are. Kim Kardashian is being eyed to play the villain in Amazon MGM's Bratz movie. Of course, Bratz being the doll that competed with Barbie, blah, blah, blah. The tech giant won a bidding war for the rights of the live-action film for the popular children's story in hopes of backing the next Barbie, of course. And additional details about the plot and cast have yet to be revealed, but, she's not an actress, guys. What are we doing? She's not.
No. They keep trying to put her in stuff, but just no.
Yeah.
And this is a bad idea. You're not going to get another Barbie.
You're not.
It's just move on. Bratz. Emily had some Bratz back in the day, but I mean, it's just not. I don't know even why they're doing this. It's like, Okay, jump on over to Netflix, who's doing smart things, as we discussed on last week's show. They're still in the game, guy. They're still the ones everybody's chasing. Netflix announced that Oscar winner Cillian Murphy's next feature, Steve, will receive a theatrical release in select cinemas in September before dropping on the streamer on October 3rd. Ding, ding, ding. They think it's an Oscar contender. It's the only time Netflix puts him in the theaters. Netflix also released a first look image of Murphy in the title role. Now, directed by Tim Melantis, Steve is a reimagining of Max Porter's novel Shy, which follows a pivotal day in the life of the title head teacher and his students at a last chance reform school amidst a world that has forsaken them. Now, as Steve fights to protect the school's integrity and impending closure, he grapples with his own mental health. In parallel to Steve's struggles, troubled teen Shy is caught between his past and what lies ahead as he tries to reconcile his inner fragility for his impulse for self-destruction and violence. Now, this film will also star the previously announced Jay LeCougo, who, if you guys ever watched Titans, you're familiar with him. He was the last Robin on Titans. And supporting cast revealed are Tracy Ullman, wow, because she's coming out of the closet, Simbi Jaweko, a.k.a. Little Sims, and Emily Watson. So, shit, sounds like a really good cast and an interesting story. And I'm always in. Anything Cillian Murphy, I watch, because he's just that good. I mean, enough said.
Completely agree, man. Completely agree. Yeah, I'm super excited to see what his performance is going to be now that he is a movie star, as they like to say.
Yeah.
But, still an actor. That's for sure. That's for sure. Well, one of my favorite comedians, Bert Kreischer, is set to star and co-create a new scripted comedy series for Netflix that's going to be titled Free Bert. Now, of course, the perpetually shirtless stand-up plays a version of his self in 6 episodes of the show, which, of course, Bert finds himself in sticky situations after his daughters enroll in an elite Beverly Hills private school, and his unriddled antics turn his family into outcasts. Now, in order to fit in, Bert decides to finally put on a shirt and suppress and choose his true self. Now, Kreischer will star alongside Ardian Mirin from Righteous Gemstones and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and Ava Ryan from Keeping Up with the Joneses. And then, of course, we have a newcomer as well, Lalu Lang. So that is very exciting. I'm super excited about this because Netflix is giving comedians chances. It started off with Shane Gillis and Tires.
Yep.
Then it went to Tom Segura's freaking Dark Thoughts or Bad Thoughts, and then now it's Bert. So it's very exciting to see because we all know Ted Sarandos loves comedy, and he's giving them chances. So I'm loving it. I'm loving every second.
And these for me most of the time work when they're playing themselves. Obviously a fictionalized over-the-top version of himself, but I think that's when these type shows work the best. I think that's why King of Queens worked so well, because it was basically Kevin James playing Kevin James as that character, right? So I think this will be huge for Netflix. I think this will do really well. He has a mass following, you yourself included in that bunch, and I think as long as he sticks to that formula and plays kind of himself, this is going to do huge. Finally, jumping over to Apple, where we always finish our beloved industry news. And the question is, will F1 finally deliver a commercial hit for Apple? They have $3 trillion. They really don't care, but it's still the question. Will it finally be a commercial hit? Now, the tech giant's big budget racing drama starring Brad Pitt as a Formula One driver who is coerced out of retirement to coach a slick rookie played by Damson Idris is seeing its opening weekend projections jump all over the place, apparently. Some people are tracking this bad boy with suggesting a $35 to $40 million start. Others have it as high as a promising $50 to $60 million start in its debut. Well, wherever it actually ends up, the film is expected to race to the top of the box office this weekend, and it is off to a quick start, hinting at maybe the 50 or 60 million might be right, because it made $10 million in advanced previews, including $7.2 million on Thursday. Now, that does look like a good start, maybe heading towards that 50 or 60, but it's gonna need to have some staying power, y'all, because F1 represents what we were talking about, a major gamble for Apple, which has entered into the theatrical space a couple of times with some epic swings, y'all. They took some big swings. Killer of the Flowers Moon and Napoleon. Both of them were horrible at the box office. Not a single profitable film to show for it, okay? So they're banking on this one. Now, F1 carries a hefty budget of $200 million, which means it needs to make over $400 million just to break even before we even talk about a profit. So good luck. I don't know if this one has the staying power to make that kind of money. I do think it'll come out strong with a strong opening weekend. I think it'll get a lot of good buzz. It seems to be generating a lot of good buzz so far. So you might see a nice start. I don't know if they can get past the checkered flag for the finish that they're hoping for, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this film. Racing is in my blood, that is for sure. And I mean, they're following the Top Gun marketing strategy. It's the same director, I
Yeah,
believe, and
yeah.
I mean, it's kind of even the same premise if you look at it. Young guy, old guy, clash, butt heads. I bet turn out to be best friends at the end. But hey, it still looks freaking great. It looks beautifully shot. And I'm very excited about it. But yeah, it making $400 million. I don't know about that one because July is full of bangers, man, and I
Yeah.
don't know if this one will have
Have
those legs for that.
Did you see though? You brought up same director as Top Gun Maverick. He has already said that he would like to do a sequel to this one,
With the
and
crossover?
with a crossover with Days of
Yes.
Thunder. He wants Tom Cruise to
Yes.
play the Days of Thunder character with that.
It'd be badass.
I mean, Formula One and NASCAR, two
Yeah.
totally different. You know, if you're a race fan, you know how
Yeah.
different that concept is between those cars and the styles of racing. So an idea of a crossover with those two guys would be, I'm just saying, you might have a better shot of getting 400 million with that one than this one.
Than this
I'm
one.
just saying. So hope that this one generates enough positive buzz that you can make the other one, because I think that'd be badass.
Yeah, completely agree, man. Completely agree. Well, this does conclude our industry news this past week. Man, oh man, it's been fun, that's for sure. And
Yes.
everybody knows you have to continue the positive vibes going. That is right. And that's why we're here with the top 5 segment. And this week, like Dustin teased a little bit earlier, it is top 5 opening scenes in a film. We've got a nice little trend going on with all of these different ideas. All of the amazing people who we've brought into the company have been sharing their ideas, and it's been helping us chug along. Because if you guys don't know, like we said at the top, 299 episodes, and we've been doing a top 5 for at least 250 of them.
Yeah.
So we've run out of things, we've repeated things, but we still have the same amount of fun. That is for sure. But yeah, this one was definitely very freaking hard because I went
Oh
with
my God,
what
yeah.
what I liked or like what was iconic when it came to cinematic experiences, and it was crazy.
Yeah, no, this one was really difficult because when you're as old as I am,
Right.
there's been a lot of movies that had epic opening scenes, and I'm like, how the hell do I narrow this down? But recent, there's been so many great filmmakers, you know, like yeah, Christopher Nolan and all the and James Mangold and all these young guns coming up, and it like. You know, so yeah, this was a hard one, man. But we get it. We jump into it. I think they're pretty good lists too. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I completely agree. Well, starting off with my number 5, I went with the original Scream. That's right. I think what I loved about this so much was this, at least as far as my recollection goes and as far as my knowledge goes, I think this was the first time like that a serial killer was verbally like antagonizing their victim before actually going to kill them for Scream. And I think what they were able to do with the marketing campaign, with Drew
Yeah.
Barrymore being on top of her career and like being like the main point of focus in the marketing campaign of the trailers, and then her dying within the first 10 minutes or 15 minutes,
Yep.
I think it set a precedent for other horror movies and other filmmakers to be like, okay, we need to be better about challenging the audience, and that's what they did. So yeah, number 5 for me, Scream, which of course started a great, huge, massive global franchise.
Yeah, no, without doubt, without doubt. And I agree, that was a brilliant marketing campaign because everybody thought that Drew Barrymore was the star of that film. Nobody
Yeah.
was even talking about Nev Campbell, who was always the star of that
Always.
film. and a lot of people revolted. A lot of people were pissed Drew Barrymore was killed off in the opening scene. They were like, "What the fuck? I only came to see Drew Barrymore." But you know, you got to take the good with the bad. So it was definitely an interesting start to that
Right.
franchise. My number 5. Speaking of one of the masters, Christopher Nolan himself, this is one of my favorite Christopher Nolan films with 2 of my favorite actors and just like a mind-blowing open that only I feel like Nolan can do sometimes. I'm talking about The Prestige. If you guys remember this one, it's with competing magicians played by Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman. And this opening scene, there's not a lot of dialogue, but Michael Caine narrates it. Okay, can we just talk about the start right there? Michael Caine narrating it, and you're seeing Bale and you're seeing Jackman, and it's basically this setup telling you about magicians at first and the lives that they live and how perilous and dangerous and cool and blah, 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 blah. And then without really telling you anything, you watch the dynamic as Hugh Jackman's magician is performing, and Christian Bale's magician is watching. And basically, this opening scene ends with, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but I am, so spoiler alert. You see Hugh Jackman's magician drown. He's he's in the chains and he's locked up in the water tube or whatever. He's got to try to escape before he drowns. Well, he doesn't. He drowns. And then they focus on the close-up of Christian Bale's face in pure shock that this guy, his rival magician, just died. And that's it. And that sets the tone for the entire movie. And without really a whole lot of dialogue, you already understand these two characters, the complexity between who they are, the rivalry that they have, It was just one of the greatest opening scenes without a lot of dialogue that set up the film completely. And it was like, you have to keep watching now. You need to know, well, how's this rivalry happen if the one guy died? Like, newsflash, it wasn't him. Yeah, just a great movie. The Prestige, man. Just Nolan doing Nolan. And great opening scene.
Fantastic, man. I love it. I love it. Number 4 for me goes to Warfare. Of course, A24's recent Alex Garland film that came out a couple months ago, I should say. And I think what I've talked about this film on a few different episodes, so I mean, I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but I think what this film, especially within the first 15, 20 minutes, showed was the actuality of what these men go through before they're about to go into combat. Especially, with certain situations that's happening in the world right now. We're not a political podcast, so we will not comment on any of those things. But seeing on social media that recently some military people were getting served lobster. I saw this on TikTok, and the guy was like, jokingly, oh, we're about to go to war. And then a few days later, the bombings in Iran happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, in the beginning of this film, they are watching a Take It or Easy on Me music video, which is just like, basically, if you think of that movie, I don't remember what it's called, but everybody knows the scene where John Travolta and Jamie Lee Curtis are dancing, doing aerobics or whatever. So they're basically watching an at-home fitness video, basically getting themselves pumped up before they go out into combat. And I guess that is very accurate. I looked on after I watch films, I like to watch different reviews on TikTok of the films. And a lot of military people commented on how accurate and real that is. They try to put you in the best possible mindset before shipping you off to possibly die. So, I mean, the accountability and the realistic approach that they took to this film, and to get acknowledgement from so many other, people of armed forces that commented on that was honestly astounding. But I loved it. And of course, I loved everything about the film. But yeah, number 4 for me, Warfare. Everybody needs to check this one out.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. It's brilliant. And like you said, that mindset of being sent to war, not only the fact that, like you said, you might die, right?
Yeah.
It's even just as mentally unsafe that you might live, because if you live, it means you killed people. So, the idea of you're being sent to either kill people or be killed is a rough thing, man. You just gotta, I don't even know. God bless all of them. Great pick, man. Great pick. My number 4 is one of the single greatest films of all time. It's probably the best or second best film about our beloved industry, the film industry. It's called The Player. This bad boy, I think, came out in 1992 by legendary director, brilliant filmmaker, Robert Altman. You recognize the name? Yeah, he did a couple movies you might know, like MASH and a bunch of famous stuff. But the opening scene on this one, a lot of people give credit to the other guy on my list coming up, Aaron Sorkin, because of establishing this particular thing in the West Wing, and now we see it everywhere. But I think he may have been inspired by Robert Altman, because Robert Altman did this first. And I think that's where maybe the other guy got it. The opening scene of this is about 8.5 minutes long. And it is a nonstop, one-shot scene of a film studio, a morning on a film studio, a productive morning. And the camera follows along. And it's not following one particular person. It's just on a path, on the lot, walking the lot. And you overhear conversation. You must see like 30 or 40 different people, all with speaking roles, not extras, all speaking, carrying conversations as the camera is following. So you see people walking out of an office and discussing a script. You see people on set doing makeup. You see people discussing financing on a thing. You're walking. And the whole time it never breaks from the scene, and it ends up in the office of the main star of the film, Tim Robbins, being pitched a movie by a director who wants Bruce Willis as the star. And but the way it's done, it had really never kind of been done before. That sequence where it's just a nonstop one shot where people are walking and talking the whole time, 8.5 minutes of straight dialogue. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So I had to put it on the list because I love those type scenes. First of all, like I said, it's been incorporated into so many things now. But yeah, just if you haven't checked out this movie, if you're a cinephile and haven't checked out this movie, what? Because it's like I said, one probably Behind Sunset Boulevard, probably the best movie about our industry ever. So check it out, The Player. It'll be worth it, I promise. The Player.
Definitely. Number 3 for me goes to Baby Driver. This film was awesome all the way around. But the opening sequence, of course, we see Baby doing what Baby does, driving. And he is so freaking cool. John Bernthal is so freaking cool. John Hamm is so freaking cool. All of these people in the same car at once, acting their asses off.
Yes.
While, of course, they're eluding the police because they are bank robbers getting away. But it's I would say a classic car chase scene, right? I think a car chase scene is like very imprinted on the entertainment industry. It is one of those things that you can bank on being exciting.
For sure.
But you can also overdo a car crash scene. And I feel like what they did with the chase, with the crash, with the getaway, it was amazing and it was awesome. There was a lot of great dialogue throughout this whole entire film, but especially the beginning. So that's why I had to put it on my list. Number 3 for me, Baby Driver.
Oh, I agree with you completely. Baby Driver, an opening car chase sequence done right. Fast and Furious, not the first, but several after. Opening car chase scenes done wrong. Yeah. where, like you said, they go too much over the top. It's like, yeah. Baby Driver, oh my God. Separate Kevin Spacey from the alleged crap, right?
Yes.
That's got to be some of the coolest cast ever. John Hamm and John Bernthal and Kevin Spacey in a fucking movie together. Are you fucking kidding me? That is so badass.
It is.
Like, anyway. My number 3... it had to be on the list. Had to be. It is probably one of the most terrifying opening scenes in cinematic history. Literally, because no one, tourism places everywhere were pissed at this movie like you're killing our fucking summers. I'm of course talking about Jaws. That's right, the opening sequence where you see this cute couple and they're flirting and they're playing at the bonfire on the beach and they're drunk and then the girl teases and runs off and the guy's like, ow! And he runs after her. And you're thinking, okay, this is going to be a cool opening scene where dude gets lucky, they're going to have sex on the beach, it's going to be cute. Not exactly the way it went. If you guys remember, it was teasing, it was playful, it did get flirty, and she's like, come on, let's go in the water. And then that was it. They went in the water, and boom, Jaws came. Dun, 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 dun. Dude didn't see her. Didn't get, no. Jaws got lucky. Just one of the greatest. I mean, come on. The iconic music, the terrifying, she goes down, comes back up. You're not sure what's going on. Oh, she goes down again. Oh, and then just, you're done. Yeah, it was terrifying, but epic. So there you go. I fucking loved it. Jaws, one of the best film openings of all time. I mean, come on, man.
Completely agree, man. Completely agree. Iconic, the inventor of the blockbuster. That is
Yes.
for sure.
Yes.
But I mean, speaking of blockbusters, my number two was a huge blockbuster. Man, oh man, I'm talking about Deadpool and Wolverine. Just the opening sequence of Ryan Reynolds dancing to Bye Bye Bye. Oh my goodness, it was so good. With, of course, the body parts of Logan, the Wolverine. And it was just honestly one of the most hilarious things that you could ever see in a movie theater. But that is Deadpool breaking the fourth wall, telling you what he's doing, and fighting and kicking ass while he's doing it
Yeah.
because he's an awesome, awesome marksman and what am I looking for? Just awesome at fighting,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Mixed martial artist. There we go. But yeah, that I loved every second of it, and it was a great way to be welcomed back into the Deadpool universe. So yeah, number two for me, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Also holds the distinction for being the most violent opening scene in a Disney film ever.
Makes sense.
Just saying that. Somewhere Robert Iger was going, what the fuck? Like, oh my God, thank God the mouse isn't on this thing. Yeah, just wow. Yeah, it's quite the scene, no doubt about it. My number two, I'm shifting, guys. I'm bringing it. This is not a film, but it should have been, which is why I'm putting it on the list. And this is one of the greatest opening scenes of a film or a television series that I have ever seen in my life, hands down, period. I'm talking about the opening scene of The Newsroom, Aaron Sorkin's political series, basically about broadcast news, cable news, covering the Hillary Clinton election cycle. Jeff Daniels, Will McAvoy, he's a slightly delusioned, kind of tired of his own party. He's a Republican, and just not in a good place. And he's doing this. He's a guest on a panel, and they're discussing politics and the nature of the country. And this girl in the audience, all the people up on the stage are discussing why they think America is the greatest country in the world. Why it stands for what it does. And this girl asks him, why do you think it is the greatest country in the world? And then that's it. He just explodes into this monologue of epic proportion about everything wrong in America. And he's like, we're not the greatest country. We're 26th in this. We're 14th in this. We're last in this. We got this wrong and that wrong. And he just goes epically and then just tears this young girl a new asshole. Just like rips her apart. And as you see her just fade, as he's going. And I don't know. It's just, regardless of where you fall politically, whatever you think, it's one of the greatest nonstop monologues of dialogue I have ever and Jeff Daniels, the Dumb and Dumber, you think all the comedic stuff. This said, no, I'm a fucking Oscar-worthy, Emmy-worthy, dramatic actor nailing this shit. I just... Yeah, Aaron Sorkin being Aaron Sorkin at the best. And that opening scene, outside The Newsroom, watch it. You can find it on YouTube. Even if you don't watch the series, watch that opening scene. Fuck. So good.
Yeah, I remember when it went viral when it first aired. And it's so good. It's at points in my life, it made me cry.
Yes,
that's good.
And
but,
sadly, still relevant. He could give that same speech today and it's all still true. That's why it's terrifying. It's the same thing with Sorkin writing The West Wing. It's all still accurate. Anyway, move on.
Anyway. Oh, goodness. Well, number one for me, guys, goes to arguably one of, if not the best mobster film of all time. I'm talking about Goodfellas. Oh my gosh. Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Martin Scorsese. All my life, I knew I wanted to be a gangster. Like the process of these three gentlemen driving in the woods at night. It's dark in the middle of nowhere. They start to hear a banging coming from the trunk of their car. Oh yeah, they forgot or didn't realize that they didn't kill or hit the guy hard enough before they buried him. Like,
Yes.
this is what it means to be a mafioso and La Costa Nostra, or whatever the hell it's freaking called. But yeah, everything about this film is amazing, but it kind of puts it into perspective, like how people either fall into things or like have always wanted to be things their entire life, or when they were growing up and then they finally get to be it and then realize, oh, maybe I bit off a little bit more than I could chew.
My bad.
Yeah, like this film is damn near perfect and probably in the top 10 best films of all time.
For sure.
So yeah, number one for me, Goodfellas, an amazing classic.
I have an interesting question for you.
Sure.
Because Ray Liotta's brilliant. One of the best actors of the modern generation. A tragedy that he's not with us anymore. Just incredible. And I personally he killed it in that film. If this film was made just a few years later, now knowing the dynamic that Mr. Scorsese has with another individual, do you think Ray Liotta is not in that film and it's Leo DiCaprio in that role? If it was made just a few years later, do we not see one of the most iconic Ray Liotta roles ever? Would it be DiCaprio?
I don't know. I think DiCaprio's too pretty. I think that.
You think?
I think.
But you can rough him up a little bit. You can muss him up.
Yeah, I still think he's very model-esque. Ray Liotta has that edge about him. And of course, with Marty being from the neighborhood, being around these guys growing up, they're not pretty. Maybe you have some handsome guys, but like they all have like these scars, these cuts, this edge about them that I feel like a younger Leo, I don't think could pull off. So yeah, it is an interesting thing, but yeah, I mean,
I think Leo would bring an interesting take on the role.
He would.
I mean,
yeah,
for sure.
I'm trying to think, like, because Leo has never played like a mafia guy. Like, I mean, he's played like in Gangs of New York, but that's different. It's a very interesting thing that maybe we should write. Who knows? That'd be amazing.
There you go. We'll call Marty up. We'll say, listen, man, let's just try this. Let's go.
Listen. I know Steven Spielberg. We meet in McAllister's. It's fine. It's
the back room of McAllister's, because that's where it all goes down, right there.
Exactly.
All right. Just had to throw it out there. I just was as soon as you were describing all that, I'm like, damn, that's an interesting question. Okay, my number one, I want to get real serious here for a minute. Forget all the laughter, forget all the kind of stuff. My number one is probably the single most realistic, terrifying, chilling, hard to watch, dramatic, make you feel every emotion possible opening scenes in cinematic history. And I'm talking about Saving Private Ryan, where we see the invasion, on D-Day, storming the beaches. I had never seen anything like that ever in my life. The degree in which the violence was portrayed in that, and yet the most respectful, realistic way. I really have no words to describe it. If I don't know about your audience, if you saw it in the theater or not, but my audience was silent. All you could hear in my auditorium was crying, people crying, watching it. I think that it's the definition of, if you are ever one of those stupid ass individuals who questions why we call them the greatest generation, why we herald them as the heroes that they are, and why we even exist in America today, watch the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan, and that will answer any question you may have about why they're called that. These young men who lied about their ages to go to that war knowing, like you said earlier with Warfare, they were going to die. That ramp comes down on that boat, and they right away they're dying. And before they even get off the boat, they're fucking dying. And they've got to storm forward on that beach and climb up that fucking hillside. And it's I don't know, Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks and the accuracy in which they pull that opening scene off really just, I don't know. I have no word. Saving Private Ryan, my number one. It's just probably the most powerful cinematic opening scene I've ever seen in my life in any film. And it's just, just incredible.
Also in the top 10 greatest films of all time.
Oh, without doubt.
There's no way it isn't.
No.
There's no way it isn't. But anyway, guys, that is our top 5.
Now get happy again.
We want to know, what is your top 5 or favorite film opening? We want to know. Opening scene in a film. Did it grab you? Did it lurk in the shadows? Was there a nice slow burn? Okay, there's so many different types of film openings, and we definitely want to know. Be sure to comment down in the YouTube comment section. Add us on Twitter or any of the social handles. And yes, keep rocking and rolling, man. Live your best life.
Yes.
But yes, let's go over to the box office recap where, hey guys, remember last week I threw out a prediction.
Yeah,
what's
done.
The order going to be? And hey, I got it all right.
Yes.
I was really confident in everything except Mission Impossible, but hey, we still got there. But if you didn't see it on social media, How to Train Your Dragon came in at number 1 with $37 million. 28 years later, really good film, by the way. Came in at number 2 with $30 million. Elio came in at number 3 with $21 million. Number 4 was Lilo and Stitch with 9.7, and then number 5 was Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning with $6.5 million.
Yes.
So yes, man, I'm loving it, because if y'all don't know, if you are newer listeners or midway listeners, because we've done a lot of episodes, I used to predict box office predictions, man, and maybe I should get back into it. Who knows? Who knows?
Lilo and Stitch at number 4 with under 10 million. This is why I think a lot of people think it's kind of stalling at the finish line here a little bit, because at this point, Minecraft was still above 10 million going into these weeks, where, of course, Lilo and Stitch was heavily up front, so it made, it's still going to take in more money than Minecraft. But it seems to be dying quicker. I think it may even drop out of the top 5 next week, and that'll be it. But a hell of a run, no doubt. But, that was the one that stuck out to me, though. Like, oh, it's under 10. And that was kind of quick to drop under 10 million. But there you go.
There it is, man. There it is. Well, like we said a little bit earlier, new movies coming out. F1 is coming out in select theaters near you. Of course, go support my man Brad Pitt. Okay, please support the Pitt. We got Megan 2.0 finally coming out as well. I haven't seen any viral dances yet. We'll see. I can't remember if that was pre-release or post-release that hit TikTok really heavy. So we'll see. And then My Mom Jane, which I think is that Mariska Hargitay's mom, about Jane Mansfield.
Yeah, if you can catch, it's in theaters, guys, but it also hit Max today. So if it's not
really
in the theater,
excited, yeah.
I'm a huge old school Hollywood guy. Marilyn Monroe, Jane Mansfield, that era. So I was all in on Jane and I've been a huge fan of Mariska. I mean, her whole career, love her to death. I was today years old when I found out that Mickey Hargitay is not her dad.
Wow.
What the fuck? What? I was watching the preview because I'm excited to watch this.
Right.
And it said her biological dad. I'm like, her biological dad, Italian singer or such and such. What? But yeah, she found out at 25, and it's in this documentary that.
It's crazy.
And she never knew. She just the whole time thought Mickey was her dad, and just I was like blown away. That alone makes me excited to watch it. I'm like, what else are we gonna find out? Yeah, I just if you guys can check that one out, check it out. And it's the directorial debut of Mariska. So well done to her. Kudos. I love this, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it too. Movies you can still go see right now in select theaters near you. We got The Karate Kid Legends, we got The Life of Chuck, we got Ballerina, and we got The Materialists, of course. And then all the ones I said above as well.
Yes.
But we are now heading over to the IMDb Pro's Top Trending segment, where the top trending movie is 28 Years Later.
Makes
Again,
sense.
saw the film last week. It was great. It leads the door open to other sequels after this, so I'm super excited about that. So all the good things for, Aaron Taylor Johnson. That's who it was.
Yeah.
Top trending TV show is The Waterfront, and then the top star is Matthew Good, which makes sense because that man is good at being an actor.
Yes. Yes.
So
The Waterfront, y'all, check it out. Hang through the pilot. You got to get through the pilot. Pilot starts a little slow, but man, it just bam! It hits you with every episode. Worth the watch, I promise you. It's a great show. Hope it gets a second season. Really, really good shit. Give it a go. Give it a look.
Nice, fantastic. Well, we have to thank you, the listener, one more time for getting crazy with us on episode 299 of ITCAFpodcast. Oh my goodness, next week's gonna be 300, guys. Where has the time gone? Where has the time gone? It's so sad. It's so crazy. But anyway, you guys know you can follow the company on social media at Crazy Ant Media, anywhere and everywhere you are on social media. You can follow this podcast at ITCAFpodcast, anywhere and everywhere on social media. And then, of course, us personally on social media. Myself, J. Logan Austin, and
Crazy Ant CEO.
That's right, man. That's right. And we also have a mental health podcast as well, where, if we can help one person one episode at a time, or one, it's all about lending a helping hand, trying to keep each other above water.
Yes.
We just had an episode come out last week about major life transitions, where we deep dove into a whole bunch of different things. So that was a lot of fun.
That was.
Check that out. Everything's OKP on social media, and Everything's Okay podcast with the titles on YouTube for sure. And then, of course, you can subscribe to this podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast. We're on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Stitcher, and so much more. And, of course, be sure to hit that like button on the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for all the latest and greatest notifications coming out of Crazy Ant Media. And then, of course, be sure to visit our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can get a little something for a little bit of everyone, because we got something for everyone.
Yes.
That is for sure. But man, oh man, what a great week. It was slower at the beginning, but then once Wednesday night, Thursday night came, boom, 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 boom. It was wild.
Yeah, man. It's just, I love all the stuff great stuff happening in Hollywood right now, which I really like, because we had a stretch there where we were struggling to find anything positive coming out of our industry. And now we're seeing great movies and great television series and great movement. We want to throw out there that the California legislation passed the huge $750 million incentive. So that's a positive move in the right direction out there, is bringing back production. A lot of good stuff happening in the industry, which we obviously like to highlight way more than the bad stuff that we have to talk about sometimes. So, yeah, it's a good thing when there's so much content you don't know what to do, right? I'm like trying to decide, do I want to finish binge watching The Bear, or do I want to go see F1? Do I want to watch My Mom Jane, or do I want to check out Countdown? It's like, that's the problem you want to have instead of not being able to do anything. So yeah, man, I'm excited. This was a fun week. Got a lot of good things coming, and I just it makes me excited to be a filmmaker and to be in the industry, and gives me some hope that we're still going on the right track. Everything's gonna be all right.
That's right, man. That's right. And as long as we all give all of the power and everything over to the one, the only
Oprah!